Our final round of the evening, of the morning, of the whatever the heck it is, wherever you are all over the world. It is Team Vici J facing off against iG.V. As I mentioned, game number 2. Lyrical joined as well by Blaze. And Blaze, they've done it! iG.V, they first phased the Invoker. They want to give it to Paparazzi. What do you think?
I think that he's going to be in a very comfortable spot this game. I don't know what was going on with the Weaver, but it just didn't seem to really work for them the way they needed it to, whether it was the heroes he was up against or just in general, like how he could move. He knew how to build it, that's for sure, but as far as just execution, they didn't play around it and building momentum and actually trying to break anything. So, end of the day, I think that going back to the basics is really the best thing they could do for him, and it's actually interesting that they ban out the Pugna here. So they're really afraid of maybe some early siege, some death ball strategies, obviously being thwarted by that nether ward in terms of spamming up the spells. It's a pretty unique ban, these two kind of counter spellcasters, the Rubik and the Pugna.
I mean, maybe it's something that harkens back to what they've seen in scrims with each other or seen in other of the matches. I don't think that in any of the games that I've watched of theirs, there's been a Pugna picked, but certainly in teams that know each other this well, there's a potential for it. So Team Vici J, they still can have a lot of options for themselves depending upon where they want to go. But the other thing is the Nyx Assassin setting up for kills. The Juggernaut, I guess, just a good answer to that and a survivable hero that's unlikely to get taken down by him.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. This Crystal Maiden's going to be picked up for iG.V, and again, this has been a pick that these teams have gone back and forth on quite a bit. They like the support a lot. It's going to give Nyx Assassin a lot to work with here, because you go a couple mangoes on Nyx, you have pretty much infinite sustain in terms of HP pool, but offering in the Arcane Aura, you get a lot in terms of mana, and you're just able to kind of continuously actually put pressure on the lane, but you're not going to let her really get much out of the jungle the way FY did, because they're already going to be putting out some aggression with this Bounty Hunter, and this is kind of a classic thing, Bounty Hunter roaming around, countering out junglers, and continuing to make their lives miserable. It also creates some great gank opportunities on the Invoker mid.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe that's their answer to trying to shut down this Paparazzi specialty that we've seen them go to time and again. I don't think that there's any possibility, really, that we're going to be seeing anything like a Quas Wex. To me, the Invoker combination with Nyx Assassin is just too strong, where you have the Sunstrike to help accentuate the natural damage that Nyx Assassin has. And then Beastmaster also taken, so kind of an interesting departure. Does that mean this is going to be a position for Nyx?
Yeah, one of the two, either the Beastmaster or the Nyx Assassin has to play a 4 position here. So in that sense, it's going to be very different to kind of figure out exactly what they want to do with the economy game. Obviously, they're going to be able to go ahead and still set up the Sunstrike one way or another, either by the Primal Roar or by the Impale. But yeah, I'm actually pretty interested to see if the Beastmaster is going to be kind of trying to do some jungle action. Doesn't make much sense in my mind, because you know, you're worried about getting creep jacked, BH just last hitting everything you're going up against. So I would say Beastmaster offlane and the Nyx as the support, but I also don't really see that much reasoning behind that. If what the Nyx Assassin's really bringing to that something like a Lion or plenty of other supports would not. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves. If they called that audible, if that was their intention all along. Many other questions arise with that pickup, but I think it should still be overall a pretty good draft. I mean, you've got some good damage that'll pierce through Magic Immunity, and then some good disables that won't, so it's a good mix of it, and I think that in general it's going to be a good option to at least address the Juggernaut directly.
Yeah, and maybe this just means that they need to take another hero that's good at being able to sustain in lane quite well, because Nyx Assassin, I looked back through it, and it looks like Dogfights does have 5 games on this hero over the past month, so it's something that they do run. They just need to make sure that, you know, your Crystal Maiden is able to get to that level 2 pretty quickly, so you have the aura available, while also having access to your Frostbite, and, you know, if she ends up starting in the jungle in any fashion, at least a little bit, Bounty Hunter is going to be able to soak away some of that experience and cause her trouble. So it's going to be an interesting one. Vici J now with the 4th pick, likely to be taking out of their support, and it's going to be the Lion.
So pretty uncommon hero in the metagame in general, but I still think that he packs a punch. I mean, he's always been really strong in my eyes in general, in terms of just having the dual disables from a couple of his spells, and then the finger, while being a long cooldown, still pretty much guaranteeing a kill for anybody who's doing the right math. So I think that's a pretty great pickup here in general, just because one thing that they were really lacking was disables. So I like the Lion. I think also his talents are pretty underrated, just getting bonus damage, bonus XP, stuff like that to really build up towards a very potent mid to late game. I think that in general this is a underpicked support for sure, and it should address a lot of what they needed here.
All right. And I mean, I've seen him mainly in response to like the Naga Sirens and causing a lot of issues in that way, where you can just mana drain and take it all those illusions out.
Does that work now? Like a week ago, there was
No,
it was
it
bugged
doesn't.
where you actually couldn't do all three.
No, you can't do all three, but still, like, you know, Hex and mana drain on that 4-second
Sure.
cooldown is great. But yeah, that does need to be addressed at some point if it doesn't still work. Yeah. So Sven, last ban, another specialty that we've seen. Although I don't know if Sakata plays it as much as Paparazzi does.
Yeah, interesting ban out there, but we are going to be seeing something that we got to see earlier today in a matchup involving TNC, which is going to be that Phantom Lancer, presumably in a carry position. We have seen it mid as well. So either the Juggernaut or the PL could go mid, and in this case, the PL versus Invoker is a matchup that NA Dota kind of brought back. MSS, when he was playing mid lane, really loved to run this PL versus Invoker matchup because it forces the Invoker to go a lot more into Quas by 2 more salves, just because of the raw damage you're putting out from the Spirit Lance. And then he's still a great matchup in the mid game, so I actually think they're going to be very happy with this laning configuration.
All right, and last pick now from iG.V to see what they need to deal with it. I mean, do you think about going... Okay, they're going to go for a Slark. A little bit interesting there, because it's not exactly like... These are good heroes to just stick onto and destroy. PL, kind of slippery. Juggernaut as well. It sometimes can be tough to stay attached to him. I guess the goal is just pick off Bounty and Lion whenever you get a chance.
I mean, I think about it the other way, where I don't even have to worry about him picking off a certain hero. He's going to find a target, whether they're impaled or they're roared. He's going to have somebody to stick to. It's more about the fact that Juggernaut can't Omni/Slark because of Shadow Dance, and PL can't stick to the Slark either. It's a hero that is going to be able to do a lot during Shadow Dance in particular, and I just think that he's going to be able to build himself up very effectively this game. So I like him. I think that he's going to be in a really good spot, and yeah, he'll find the line every once in a while. It doesn't really matter who he goes on, as long as he keeps hitting and beefs himself up quickly enough. I think that while PL and Juggernaut can certainly get away from the Slark, he could do the same, and they can then just kind of focus on who has the most disables.
All right, well, this is going to potentially be the draft that either sends iG.V up to at least game number 3 or puts Vici J tied 1-1 as far as their series are concerned for today. A lot on the line for both of these teams, clearly. Is there a draft that you favor or over the other? You said that you think the Slark's going to be able to do a lot. Is it going to be enough to overcome the strong dual core of Juggernaut and Phantom Lancer?
So I think that it can if he gets to a certain point. The issue is that the laning from the side of VGJ should be really strong. Like, this PL should match up really well. Obviously, we've seen Bounty Hunter and Lion be heroes that control the early game, and Abaddon has also been doing that a lot recently. So just a lot of their picks are very early game focused. Still can scale great, the Juggernaut and the PL can, but a lot of it is about winning the lanes, and I think Freeze is going to be in a great position to do that against Paparazzi.
Okay. In the meantime, Fenrir, he's going to head off across the map with those wards in hand and start to lay them down whenever they get a chance to. We'll place one up on the high ground there. Was that really pinged out? Did July just spot him? How does he know? What?
I think it's just a prediction, maybe based on what they've seen before. Just kind of get in position here, get ready for something. But I'm not sure if they know anything about the wards, but they know about the bounty room that is most likely going to be trying to be stolen. Okay.
I guess that's fair enough. So, yeah, in July, he's going to head over. He does have a ward of his own, and that is immediately going to be scattered out. And, well, here's always the question. Do you deward it knowing that that's going to signal that there's a ward in the area? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's free money. It wastes support's time rotating up top. I mean, the Knicks, the CM, they don't want to be up on the top lane at all. It's just pretty silly for them to do so. So just go ahead, clear that out, no problem. And, yeah, this pays for itself real quick. In fact, it's a way of transitioning gold from one hero to another, where the support FY bought the Sentry and Aggressive got to use it.
Okay. I guess that's fair enough.
Valid, man.
Yeah, you mentioned as well. I mean, there is still the chance. We'll see if InJuly wants to level up anything, but he's just going to instead go on there, take a tango, and then head to lane. But yeah, Paparazzi goes for the early points and Quas to start it off. Not often seen, but as you mentioned, you have to deal with the constant harass that's going to come from both the Bounty Hunter and Freeze. So Paparazzi going to need to play this more defensively here.
Yeah, good sentry ward. Very important to get that at least in the middle of the lane, if not in a closer position, when the game begins, just to make sure that the level 1 bounty hunter doesn't get to roam on you. And then, yeah, I expect both of these tangos, he'll use an Iron Branch to double up the benefit. But as you see there, Fenrir has brought some sentries of his own, and Crystal Maiden only bought the one to start off. So it is going to open up the lane and force the Invoker to play it back quite a bit.
I guess also one of those sentries being used to take down the ward up on the high ground, so a little bit of trade-off there as far as safety for the Invoker versus...
They might just get the kill. It's very close. Like if they had the Spirit Lance coming out, or coming off cooldown very shortly, so they definitely had the potential to go for a dive there, but it looks like it is just going to be continuing to poke, continuing to harass, and being happy with just the fact that he's not CSing.
Top lane, InJuly in trouble, going to go for the TP away. Do they manage to find anything? No crit skill, as Juggernaut's only level 1, but it means that he's going to get out there using the Shrine.
Yeah, and I mean, right now Paparazzi knows that the Bounty Hunter is just sitting on top of him, but there's really nothing he can do about it. So he's just going to take a lot of damage here. Going to be dropping very low, but not going to be killable just yet. Shouldn't be. This is very interesting, actually. Freeze and Fenrir. Diving earlier would have made more sense. Diving there is just extra free damage the other way around.
Yeah, and Paparazzi will get just about the full usage out of that salve as well, and now takes a couple of pot shots on his way out. So well played by Paparazzi to at least get something in return and force the salve usage from Freeze as well as his own.
In the meantime, we do have Dogfights actually has a Dust of Appearance and a Orb of Venom, so I'm curious if he's going to do any counter roaming here. He knows that Fenrir's got to be somewhere in the area, but at least for the moment, he's just kind of stalking things up and looking for opportunities. He's got, again, nearly unlimited mana and HP thanks to the Arcane Aura and, you know, being a Nyx Assassin. But as far as being in the right place and finding opportunities, it's going to be tough.
The thing that's really impressive to me about this so far is how much the Slark has been able to against ROTK, and he's basically been left alone. Like, is this a good matchup by and large? I always think of Slark as a traditionally weak laning hero.
Melee, or Slark versus melee is fine because you could just 4-band shield, maybe Orb of Venom, and then just Essence Shift trade. You're never going to win one-to-one trades, a Slark versus a melee hero. Like, the Slark's always going to come out slightly ahead because of that passive.
Okay.
So, it seems to be perfectly fine for him. If he was worried about the Bounty Hunter, then it would be a different story, but we know that Fenrir has been sitting mid, and I'm sure that the Invoker's pretty well aware of it at this point as well.
Totally. And again, Invoker taking a good bit of chip damage here from Paparazzi. They're going to summon up that Forge Spirit, try and deal some damage in its own right. And in the meantime, Courier coming in. Looks like Super will still get his sentries brothered, and also sharing some experience with Mr. Fenrir herself.
So pretty quiet laning phase, at least for the moment. We might see a Sunstrike First Blood coming out as one of these heroes hits level 6. The Nyx, the Beastmaster. To a lesser extent, you can set it up with a Pounce, but it's difficult. So I expect, for the most part, RTK to stay pretty healthy in this off lane and just try to make sure he's never within that threshold where he can be Sunstruck.
Okay. And both shrines used by the mid players. And it looks like Vici J now just going to be back on the grind, trying to get up as many of these last hits as possible. Looks like Freeze will guess incorrectly for the rune. It's a regen down bottom. And maybe Dogfights can come over and sneak that one away, or at least go get the bounty rune it looks like he'll get. But walking Couriers, interestingly enough, for both mid players at the 4-minute mark, even though there's a bounty hunter in the game. Huh.
Yep. That's pretty interesting, actually. Crystal Maiden focusing on her thing. The Nyx Assassin doesn't even have boots yet, so I guess it's just a weird way that they're prioritizing their farm right now and just saying, okay, well, I need boots. Well, I need this, and just kind of going back and forth without actually prioritizing what might have been important.
Mid lane, Paparazzi almost going to go down, but Freeze going to get caught there by the cold snap, and now Dogfights rotates in as well. He does have another impale in 6 seconds, but not in time to make it happen. So Paparazzi gets out alive. Does get forced back to base, though.
Still pretty valuable to force him back, but even more so for him to get that last cold snap trigger and make sure that he does not get picked off there. And then Super just gets to get a nice little pull off here, clear out the jungle a little bit, and reset the lane so that RTK is postponing his level 6. It's actually going to be quite some time, I think, before the Abaddon actually finds his ultimate.
Well, look at Invoker now with the Sunstrike queued up instead of the Cold Snap. Maybe trying to get a bit more aggressive, we'll see. But not having that there means it could be tough for him to keep Freeze off of the Invoker if they do decide to dive again. I guess he can always just resummon again.
Oh, Sakata's really low here. He's going to pop the healing salve, and RTK doesn't have the Mist Coil, but yeah, this is just one thing where RTK can still dish out quite a bit of damage the other way. He's going to get caught by the Impale, but I don't think that's going to cause him too much trouble, as the Frostbite is not really a concern as an Abaddon.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Slark needs to get to level 6 as quickly as he can to offer that sustain tool in the Shadow Dance, and yeah, it just feels like there's been a lot of leeching going on between him and Super.
Mm-hmm. And Fenrir, too, he's going over here leeching away some experience from iG.V. They do know that he's in the area because the Bounty Hunter was able to steal away that Bounty Rune. And now diving for it. iG.V, yeah, maybe in some trouble, but they aren't going to be able to go for the full dive there. And Beastmaster very aware of what was coming his way.
Very close call, though. Any spell connecting there, and that guy is absolutely dead. You've got an Omni Slash, you've got Spin as well. Actually, one or the other, but you have enough with the 3 heroes that it should have been definitely a kill. But iG.V just is able to juke his way through, and no problem at all. We actually have Fenrir instead, poking, prodding, looking for an opening on Paparazzi, but you can't really reinforce this kind of
scan? The Radiant, no. They see these in the area, they drop down the ward, but Fenrir is just going to skulk away, no longer in the area. A little unfortunate there. I thought iG.V was going to make something happen, but it doesn't end up happening.
Sorry, though, at least the Bounty Hunter isn't getting much experience. He's going to be the one chewing the tomes, I believe, as just really needs to get to that track up online as soon as possible. But yeah, still no kills so far this game, but it's been pretty interesting seeing this map movement here. A lot of different ways that the kills can come out, different things can happen back and forth, but we just look over at the current state of the game. You've got Juggernaut doing really well for himself, 62 and 15 in terms of CS, and behind him is Sakata's Slark at 50 and 7, but he tries to keep trading with Abaddon, and while what I said before still kind of holds true about the Essence Shift trading, the issue is that he keeps on popping Dark Pact against a Photic Shield, and essentially taking a ton of damage without dealing any. So he's had to sit in the Fog of War, regenerating quite a bit for the past couple minutes.
Yeah, it's not been the best for him in that regard. It is interesting that he's going to be going immediately into the Echo Saber. At least it's queued up for the moment, instead of a Shadow Blade. So I guess a bit more stats, a bit more survivability, and farming potential. I mean, what's the thought there? I guess that also maybe you're not going to pick anybody off on Vici J with the Shadow Blade?
Yeah, I think that it's been proven quite a bit that the just overall farming efficiency of the Echo Saber really outweighs a lot, but Crystal Maiden's going to be that first blood here with the Bounty Hunter and the Juggernaut finding her all the way by her lonesome, and all this money committed to flying couriers and sentries is not being put towards a bottom rune ward, so that's going to be an opening with Juggernaut just to walk right in and take claim of life.
Up in the top lane, Paparazzi able to find that Sunstrike kill with iG.V there. Roar was used as well, and that does signal to Vici J that there's more potential for them to stay in this middle lane here. Not really anything can come and mess with them. Fenrir is here as well. The Impale's going to connect onto 3. Aggressive. Still holding on to that Omni Slash, although he doesn't have mana for right now. Does have the stick charges. They still find the kill into dogfights. Super is going to pop. And now maybe Sakata can find a follow-up kill. He takes down Aggressive from what was looking bad.
Fenrir walking in is seen by Paparazzi. Does not freak out though, just keeps on playing.
They got him though.
Does come in from dogfights, and that's gonna be a kill.
Yeah.
Oh, cool as a cucumber. Paparazzi doesn't even blink.
Nicely played. That was really well done, and you know, obviously baiting out that movement to make sure that they found the kill on the Nyx Assassin. And I think at the end of the day, that favors IG Vitality significantly more. They lost their Jug and gave that kill to Slark, and FY now also in a little bit of trouble. They're going to be able to dive forward. The Dark Pact is there. Can they actually find the kill go into the ulti? No follow-up, as Super wasn't there in time.
But not too much cost, not too costly of a rotation here, so overall, I think iG.V is still pretty happy with how things have been transpiring. The laning phase has been kind of stifled in momentum. Golden Experience pretty much dead even. I want to talk about ulti timing because those are pretty important here. The Bounty Hunter approaching level 5, but still kind of off and actually walking under another sentry for the Sunstrike combo.
Nicely done. Aggressive is still there. He does not have Omni Slash this time, but Freeze is also in the area, and it looks like these two melee cores should be able to secure the tower, or at least a good bit of damage onto it. But yeah, another kill on a Bounty Hunter, and you mentioned it, he's the lowest level in the game right now, very far away from that ulti.
Yeah, these are very important kills. Like, just delaying him, keeping him down for a long time. Can't read if the tome has been used or not, but either way, even with a tome, he'd be pretty far off right now.
And Sakata forces back the movement from that PL. Will be dropped down fairly low here in terms of HP, but just has that level 6, can back out after the fact. iG.V are putting together quite a strong front, and now it's past the point where Paparazzi has to worry about getting brought down low. He has his Midas stun, can move back into the jungle. Bounty Hunter doesn't feel comfortable because they've been able to catch him out a couple times in those sentry wards. This is going quite well for iG.V.
So at this point in time, you have some very poor supports on the side of iG.V, but their cores are really coming into their own. We're actually going to see Nyx in a little bit of trouble, but gets the Carapace off just in time. Have to perfectly stagger those disables, and it just doesn't work out that way. So all in all, still all right for Vici J. RTK's got his hand of Midas too, so gonna answer that 1-for-1 and try to build himself up towards some good mid-game core items. Obviously, we got to see what he likes to build last game with the hand of Midas. Into Solar, Crest, Vlad's, and Radiance, but we'll have to see what he thinks about this game.
Oh, and Dogfight's making the movement in. Aggressive, actually canceling the TP. They scout out these heroes in the area. A scan by the Radiant reveals there was not a Bounty Hunter in the area, but they will still spot Aggressive here and might think about going on him in a second. He's going to be coming out of this Blade Fury, but can they actually do anything? And Pale off the mark. Aggressive, able to dodge that one. Still out of mana. Sakata chasing, but does not want to dive for it.
Looks like there might be a pickup here if Crystal Maiden stays a little bit too long in the jungle. She does have boots and windlass, but has to be very careful how she moves. It is a Fenrir Bounty Hunter just waiting in the wings, looking for an opening, and it might turn into a very interesting 2v2.
Yeah.
Good sentry.
They drop one down. Paparazzi realizes in the area. They're looking for that opening now. They do have vision of these guys. They see exactly what's going on with FY as well. Sunstrike dropped FY. Is he going to be able to do it and get off the combo in time? It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Super is still staying alive in the midst of this. Has another second, but there's the Finger of Death to find the kill. Now the Omni Slash down as well. Paparazzi going to drop, unfortunately, the Shrine. Not enough time for it to be online in July. Dropping low as well. He is going to die, but they have Sakata and Dogfights in the area to try and clean up. I don't think that Sakata's quite going to be able to get there, though, and the Pounce not going to be able to latch, turning to fight, goes into ulti, Aggressive, trying to man up and take this engagement. Dogfights also in trouble and will die. So the trades come out, and Sakata now trying to run away from here. He turns the fight onto Aggressive. He finds the kill. The Hex, the turnaround. FY finds it. Super now trying to run away. Has a freezing field, but he would just end up going down. Unrepentant disaster going on by iG.V.
What a bloody mess coming out from both sides. That is a 9-kill engagement. Back and forth. A lot of spells getting forced out there, but in the end, a couple of questionable ones. One was RTK popping borrowed time without really any damage coming and no miscoil to boost his health back up. He dies immediately after, and unfortunate timing for the Nyx Assassin, where Dogfight's actually Carapace like the last tick of the spin from Juggernaut, and therefore the auto attack that came out right after didn't actually reflect because it already said, hey, I tried to stop Juggernaut's damage, and in the end, he does get killed off. That sucks so much. But in the end, now we have Track online. Bounty Hunter already getting 1 track kill, and probably hungry for some more.
Totally. It's a very hard thing to deal with. ROTK in the top lane might end up going down here. The roar is going to connect. They managed to pop the ulti, although you do now have the PL who's showing up. There is the Boots of Travel online for him already. ROTK is down in July. Might end up falling as well. Paparazzi kills off FY with a little bit of help from the Nyx Assassin. And it looks like Sakata is going to end up losing his life. while the Slark slithers away.
So if they finish off in July's Beastmaster up top, the Nyx Sunstrike combo does its work down bottom. It's just action all over the map. And it is going to be, in general, helping iG.V stabilize their early game. So it's actually going to be the Echo Saber complete for Cicada, and considering a Blink Dagger. Oftentimes we'll cite that the Slurk really does need at least one mobility tool. It used to be like a Midas Blink opener. Oftentimes Shadow Blade replacing it just because of the synergy with the ultimate.
Oh, the setup is beautiful. They get the healing ward 2. Freeze in trouble. Can they kill them all off? The freezing field comes out as well. Aggressive, able to go into the side, and actually they're just going to both TP away.
And they lose the tower.
Oh.
They get the deny out. The siege creep finishes it off. Oh man, that sucks so much. I mean, you got to expect the spin TP to disengage from that situation, but I was hoping that they'd get the Phantom Lancer at the very least. Instead, both cores will slip their way out, no problem at all, and back to the drawing board for iG.V.
How does that happen? I guess maybe, again, it's a lot of games that these teams are playing, and a little bit of fatigue comes into it as well. An Invis Beastmaster at the Necrobook level 2 and a Sunstrike should be enough to kill just about anybody, I would imagine. And it looks like they might have their eyes on Freeze, who's almost at that Diff Blade, but not long for this world. As long as they can find the right one.
Top.
And, yep, there it is. That's going to be the kill. Nicely played.
Waits for him to move away from the illusions. No bait here, and the Invis Rune avails a nice freebie there. In the meantime, though, we've got a lot of VGJ members smoked up right into the Radiant jungle, and they find Super.
Yeah, poor Super. There was never anything he could do about that. Dog fights?
Wow.
FY?
Oh, he actually looks to turn it. Is it gonna work? Yes!
Oh man, dog fights. The player, the man, the myth, the legend. That's what we were expecting from him last game.
That was absolutely ridiculous. Lucky that he didn't get dropped there in the first place. I'll attribute that to the Lion not having the plus 60 damage talent just yet, just short of level 10. But even still, being able to turn around with essentially no HP, just stare death in the face and get the kill, that's amazing.
And right here as well, you had this moment where Bounty was trying to set up on Injali and find the kill, but with the Slark there as well, aggressive, realizing they can't actually make that happen, and they will back out into their own jungle. So this combination from iG.V, pick-off-oriented Dota with still a large amount of teamfight available to them, it's been working quite well. What's the play now for Vici J to try and deal with it? Is it group up and go for 5-man play? Is that something that they even can do at this point?
It's a little awkward because they don't really have that much in terms of stuns. The Lion is one really good stunner, but they don't across the board have a lot for taking fights. That being said, I think a couple big item pickups would just allow them to have that extra boost in damage, and that's going to be coming out in the form of Diffusal Blades for both the Phantom Lancer, which is a classic, and the Juggernaut, which is a little bit less so.
Oh, in July, he holds on to the roar as well, but now there's going to be an Omni Slash that comes out onto 2. ROTK is going to drop, but in July will end up dying. Paparazzi kills off Fenrir on the other side of the map, again, courtesy of that Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, just doing work against them. They've got that place warded up. It is just a landmine of a trap for this bounty hunter. And yeah, in the meantime, you notice that Cicada, like he's more than willing to bail. He still recognizes that his farm is far more important than anybody else's on the map, and knows that he needs to disengage if things get a little too dicey. So still get their kill, and they get to back off too, and keep at least one of their heroes alive. Now going on to FY here, gets the pounce. Just one more attack is all they need. The Sunstrike is going to be enough despite being split among 4 different units.
Yeah. Paparazzi has the maxed out Exort at this point, and this lineup, it suits him well. It feels like it's the classic iG.V of you move around, you have dogfights set things up for you. Usually it's during the laning stage with a Bounty Hunter or an Earth Spirit or one of those other clutch plays, but in this game, it's just the Nyx Assassin that's been working beautifully.
Absolutely. Now we have just VGJ struggling to find the next big thing. The Manta style with the defuse play for the Juggernaut. Probably the same for the PL once he finishes it, but it's just been a long time coming, and we're seeing more and more momentum built up for iG.V. Usually at this stage, you'll see a lot of like track momentum. You'll see like, okay, well, we've gotten this many track kills, we've got this many items in advantage, and Sakata just goes in. He sees Fenrir's stealth in the middle of the river, and he just, okay, I have a dagger and dust, let's do something with it. And there you go, a kill the other way.
And unfortunately, Vici J don't realize that there is Roshan going down as well at the moment. So iG.V going to continue to accelerate this farm, take down objectives. There's not a whole hell of a lot that they can do about it.
Yep, Chris Mate even steals a couple of ancient creeps from Abaddon with a lucky Nova, and it just seems like nothing is going right for Vici J in this game.
Well, Sakata finds the kill down bottom. Too easy for Sakata.
I mean, we talked about that difference between Shadowblade, where he's not able to move around like as quickly across the map as a whole because he's, you know, not moving around with the Shadow Dance.
Hold that thought. There's In July dead in an instant. That's the plus side of having your line die first, is that he does have that minus respawn time. And now Dogfight's in trouble. Gonna get diff bladed up. They have the Sunstrike off the mark that time. Dogfight's still in trouble. Pop back Spike Carapace. A big ulti comes out from CM, but not nearly enough. And now Sakata forced to bail. So 2 go down for IG Vitality while Dogfight's trying to get out and away. Paparazzi drops down the Ice Wall freeze. Frozen in trouble. That Shrine is going. The right clicks are there. They kill up Sakata. The roar down as well. FY going to drop in just a second, maybe not. No, it looks like he's actually gonna be able to walk away, but Sakata's staying stuck on him. The Dark Pact doesn't come out in time. Lion doing a great job of controlling hold of that hero, but he does finally drop down and die. ROTK, ulti popped. They're still controlling Fenrir, going to be able to get that kill. Maybe they can find it even more. You have the Blink Dagger there for the Invoker, and it wasn't able to continue the chase, but another team fight win for iG.V.
At the end there, the triple shuriken bounce to try to like style kill on the Nyx Assassin. He just carapaces it and kills the bounty hunter instead. And I think the most important part of that fight in reality was the fact that the Juggernaut went and Omni slashed the Slark, thinking there would be disables to lock him down. There weren't. He Shadow Danced it immediately, barely got the one hit off before it was already Shadow Dance. Just really quick fingers from Sakata, and they just dominate that fight. Like absolutely, 20-14. Massive net worth swing, taking down towers, taking the map. This is the tipping point here. This is where iG.V are completely in control of the mid game. And it's also a lineup that you naturally want to be ahead in terms of the net worth, because Fenrir on this bounty hunter, that's what he contributes to the fights. Outside of this, there's sure some vision, but I mean, Nyx Assassin is just able to do so much more on this roaming support at this time. And in the meantime, Paparazzi growing larger and larger in this game, off the back of the accelerated kills that Nyx Assassin provides. We'll see. Nice little sentry action in mid to try to avoid any more Vendetta or aggressive stealth plays. But yeah, it's not, I mean, because I guess that's one reason why Sakata didn't go for the Shadow Blade, is because he already has a Nyx Assassin on his team, and he's going to be dealing with multiple forms of protection anyways. But another factor I've got to say is just that he's really damn good at moving with this Blink Dagger. Like, he's been able to blink into some really quick positions, get a huge surprise factor on his targets, and there's just been no reply. And speaking of, we have Paparazzi blinking in RTK. It looks like the tornado will be off the mark, but it just goes to show that iG.V can make extremely aggressive maneuvers, and there's really no repercussions for it. Yeah, if they do get caught somehow, it would be hard to deal with, but what is your catch in this game? It's mainly just the Lion, who has been able to finish off the Blink Dagger. That's really the only strong stun that this lineup has, is the Earth Spike and the Hex, and if Slark is there to find the pick at the beginning of the fight, it's curtains for Vici J. Yeah, definitely not a position they want to be in, but that they have to deal with for the moment. 600 gold until Sakata picks up an Eye of Scotty, and at that point, it might be too late. Like, once you have that Eye of Scotty, this hero has so much in terms of raw staying power in the fights. He has a lot of effective HP between his Shadow Dance and his raw normal health pool, and he just stays on whatever target he wants. We're going to be seeing down bottom the aggressive combo with FY Pop of the Finger. That's going to be the kill onto the Nyx Assassin, but I don't even know if they get the tower off of it. We'll have to see. Yeah, it feels as if, well, Nyx Assassin's dead for 30, so he has been a huge influencer in these fights. We'll have to see if iG.V still feel confident taking this, or if they want to play a little bit more passive for the moment and only take the fight when they're at their maximum potential. Because that's something scary about this lineup, is they don't know where the bounty hunter is, and they don't know if he's going to be able to, you know, mess them up, and suddenly there's a ton of track kills.
Oh my god.
Without any mana, no.
I don't know about this. They have that Earth Spike, but there's going to be the roar onto aggressive. Suddenly, all the attention is off of the Slark, and he is going to be able to back out and wait. And July gone now. That's a track kill going into the way of Vici J. They're chasing down Super. They know that this is the other hero that they want to take, but it looks like they'll just suffice to take down the Necro Books. And now Nyx Assassin coming in. They have eyes on him. Dogfight's able to blink away before they catch onto him. They'll call it good there.
For sure. So they only have one set of arcane boots on the side of the Dire, so Mana Burn EMP is actually doing a lot of work, and there was a really good one on the Abaddon that led them to try to make that play happen. In the end, they're still going on RTK. He has that ultimate. He's got a little bit of backup from Aggressive. He's got the Shrine as well. It's going to be really hard to bring this guy down. But in the meantime, there's a lot of stats being sucked up by the Essence Ship.
Oh, he's in the wrong place, though. He has the Earth Spike. They're going to be able to control him. Not quite bring him down as of yet. On the south side of the fight, Paparazzi and Super able to kill off Fenrir, but Sakata stuck there on the high ground. The CM ulti is coming from the low ground. I don't know if it's going to be enough to bring these heroes down. ROTK there. There's the catch. Still so much damage being done. Finally, the Earth Spike is there, but the Spike Carapace not quite able to get FY. They have the Phonic Shield in time. Is it going to be enough damage with the Rolling Polar? Yes, it is. Aggressive. Now dropping low. Paparazzi. Sunstrike connects on the Juggernaut. Dogfight stunned. But still, you've lost so much. IG Vitality can't find any more. They have a roar. They have Necro Books back up in 7 seconds. But it's not quite close enough, and Freeze and ROTK back out.
Yeah, the Abaddon can always dispel that roar, so it just comes down to getting it on an isolated target there. We did not see it. We saw instead the biggest deal here was the catch out of Sakata on the high ground. He pounced to the wrong spot. He got completely trapped and with no escape whatsoever. And right when the pounce was about to come back off cooldown, he gets his gun down. He didn't even buy the point booster, though he was like, maybe he was just like 50 gold short. So that means that he is just delayed a little bit further, and I'm pretty sure he had a pretty hefty bounty on his head. So yeah, with that, 568 gold just for that one kill going to the Juggernaut, and a bit of a resurgence for VGJ.
Yeah, this is what they needed to happen, and I think it again starts with that pickoff on the Nyx Assassin. Like, if you take that fight without him and there's suddenly a couple of track kills, the gold swing is quite potent back into their favor as FY looking like he might be the one that goes down here. They're walking back in towards the Sentry Ward, and unfortunately it wasn't quite in range to catch the Nyx.
Yep, and that means that it's just going to be a free kill, though it might be a return, as we do see that he did not have the TV scroll. Blinked away, will blink away again, and get it all the way back to the base. Nice wild goose chase to go on, but I think at the end this is going to be a track kill. I
mean, he does still have that blink that he picks up there, catches the Impale onto FY in the midst of the jump forward blink. Is it there? Spike Carapace? No, they got the Hex. It would have been beautiful, but still space created.
Yep, in the end, I mean, so the way I look at it, you just traded yourself for another support, the Lion. The only difference there is track, but also the difference in time spent. For one support, they got it with a simple Sunstrike, compared to the other team that's chased you all the way back to the base. So I'd say at the very least that's break even, and iG.V can't be too broken up about it. Do have Roshan respawning, so I'm curious if we're going to see another Aegis in the Invoker and allowing Paparazzi to just be the big man in the fight.
Yeah. Radiant scanning and should realize Fenrir's just outside of the scan. Oh, Paparazzi thinks he's safe, but it wasn't on him. Now ROTK coming in.
Blinks.
That was close.
That's actually ridiculous. The shortcut cost was mid-animation.
Yeah.
Just doesn't feel safe. I don't even think he had a visual cue. There's no way human reflexes do that. I think he just honestly was blinking out, didn't feel safe, and was able to get out in time. There's a chance RTK also slipped up on the fog, but no matter the case, he gets out, and they're right back down mid.
Well, ROTK gonna be the one that gets initiated on, and well, they do catch the Impale. FY, he gets gone on. Sakata misses the pounce, and now he's stuck in the trees. This is a problem. He does have another pounce again in a second. The Omni Slash doesn't end up doing all that much, trading between a lot of creeps, and there's the blink out, and now he's found and killed off FY. Not a whole lot of control left in this fight now for Vici J, although Freeze throwing out the Spirit Lance for the moment onto dogfights. Fenrir's still there. They catch him, though, and he's inside the Sentry Ward. Sakata gets the kill with Paparazzi.
Yep, they've got a lot of tools now. They had Dust Sentry and the Necronomicon Warrior in that fight. There's no way he gets out there. And in fact, it's going to be Freezer has to Doppelganger away. So tough spot to be in. A nice tornado coming through as well. No follow-up, and the FY quick respawn.
Uh-oh, Sakata controlled. They're in trouble. They end up throwing it out, but Sakata is going to be able to back out of there. Somehow manages the escape. A little bit of help from the Glimmer Cape.
That Glimmer Cape was so money. That was an insane escape that they needed at that moment, and they're going to be able to disengage with most of their heroes. Nick's Assassin, though, does not get the Carapace off onto the Sentry Ward, is going to be killed off. That's going to be making the kill score 26-21 while they go for Roshan.
Yeah, still a very bold move here, and I guess iG.V just realizing they're not going to be able to come and contest quickly enough, and this is going to be a free Rosh.
I think they could have definitely tried to, but in the end, who knows how that fight would have played out? We'll never know, because that is going to be a snuck Rosh from iG.V. Sakata grabs it and goes right in on Freeze, who just popped the Doppelganger. They're shipping the kill on the Phantom Lancer.
Oh, gets caught there. The pounce actually connects onto ROTK, but Freeze able to get that pounce away. Dark packed off immediately. The stun. FY now in trouble. Now going to die. ROTK trying to run to catch up to help the rest of his team, but Freeze being right-clicked down to death by Paparazzi. Not able to find the Sunstrike. Was expecting the next level blinks. Aggressive makes the escape, as does Freeze with the TP away. But I think that this is going to be the end of the Juggernaut as he does fall.
No buyback. They're going to go for more.
iG.V never stopping, never giving up. They have track on Sakata, but also they have the Aegis, and soon to have a tier 3 tower, unless Freeze can make some magic here. But the Impale, he jumps forward, he gets caught. Can they kill him off? Sakata brought down so low. Fenrir, he does have another shuriken here if he wants to toss it out, but it's not going to be enough damage. EMP connects onto ROTK, and they'll back out yet again. iG.V not wanting to test the waters.
But still in a great position, having just forced out that buyback. And I mean, Abaddon has shown that he is a very mortal man in this game. So I feel like iG.V are really just in a great spot. I mean, they didn't lose the Aegis on Slark. He's able to just be so aggressive here. And I just got to say that across the board, iG.V have been playing so damn well. I mean, that freezing field from the CM was great. The Glimmer Cape on the Slark earlier was one of the highest value item usages you can get out of that. The EMP is actually from the Evoker. Like, we can talk about Paparazzi Sunstrikes, his kills all day long. But the he's brought with EMP has been really strong as well.
Don't forget those Sunstrike. You said that they're pretty good, and also, I mean, everything has been great out of him this game. It's why he continues to be one of the most picked heroes for them. As Super finds the blind kill with the Crystal Nova. Just a bit too much damage for that Bounty Hunter. The catalyst for everything working this game. I mean, honestly, it's just been a full team effort.
Absolutely. Every one of them just really doing work in this context. And Sakata has just, he feels so confident in his teammates, and he's able to go in a very aggressive stance. They force out the glyph. They're going right onto ROTK. They say, you have no buyback, and now you have no ultimate.
All right, there's the catch. ROTK is going to end up popping here in just a second. The meteor drops down onto his face and is going to be the kill. Dark backed off the stun. FY is in a hell of a lot of trouble. Another Impale connects onto aggressive. Sakata is never going to stop, only to go back and hit some towers. What a display.
Up too. Like, he realizes that even if the Abaddon is full HP, it doesn't matter because he can just keep soaking up the stats. And now this guy has stolen 69 agility.
Dank. As the tier 3 tower about to end up falling. Paparazzi, Forge Spirits are there. iG.V is all but wrapped up this one. Aggressive jumps forward, Omni Slash down as well. They're controlling and bringing down Paparazzi, but again, the Glimmer Cape keeping him alive. It is going to be the death of him finally. He just had gone relatively recently. Maybe iG.V thinking about going back in? Are they kidding me? Oh, the jumps away, good reactions. They're actually able to live through this. So Vici J now maybe going to take a little bit of an advantage in terms of the fight. Super jumps back with the blink away. But there's the chase. Roar now onto aggressive. It's to try and ensure the retreat. They pop the super ultimate, but it's not doing all that much. Freeze has found him. Now they've got aggressive. Now they got Freeze. The TM ulti is too big. Oh, the freezing field is one mup than Freeze. That was a lot of damage.
On the back line that has all of the stolen agility. Like, you can't just count him out as far as just jumping back into the fight time and time again. And now with the buyback, the offensive buyback, the Paparazzi, we should just be seeing the top racks breaking. But they'll put everything they can into this defense. They can bring all 5 heroes to defend this, but they've got to do it quick.
Yeah, Sakata jumps in. Like you said, there was the buyback. They need to find something here if Vici J want to keep their hopes alive in this game. At number 2, dogfights still running out and away. Did have that blink up for a moment, but didn't end up going for it. Freeze still there. The Sunstrike gonna come in, not quite on the mark for Fenrir. Sakata still large and in charge. Has still 25 Essence Shift stacks, but it looks like they're finally going to back out at least to reset for round number 2.
All right, we've got to watch his Aegis timing here. It's only about 20 seconds left on Sakata's Aegis, and I think that's the reason for their hesitance. Before, oh, they smoke with track on. That's not a good start, but and there's a server ward in the play in either case.
You know what? It's fine. Do whatever you want. They've been winning this game so far, but yeah, they're making the correct move here. Go back, get the shrines, take it easy, and then finish
they're
off.
They're going to come back so much stronger. Like, the Aegis will be reclaimed, and that's, you know, that happens, but we're going to be looking at not only the Abyssal Blade on Sakata, but soon to be a Mjolnir, which means this Phantom Lancer just won't be able to compete. Like, the only thing that's been really having any staying power in these fights have been Freeze's illusions, but even those are going to evaporate when the Mjolnir comes in.
And he's building towards the heart. Like, you can see the goal there eventually, burning through the mana, but it feels like it keeps on coming back to the same issue, that how do you deal with these heroes when your main source of a stun is like a Lion? I feel like they just need more disable.
Yeah, they didn't have a single stun until the 4th pick, and I just feel like they hedged their bets too much on winning the laning phase, and then once that didn't really happen, they put themselves in a spot where the fights just became harder.
Uh-oh, roared the wrong one. Freeze did the opie-dope, but will it be enough to get him out of there? I don't think so. He's going to run again with the other one, but it was cute. Not good enough.
Yeah, they're covering their bases. They're stunning, abyssaling, roaring, everything. They don't want a single cat to get it out of the bag, but all the same, it looks like it is going to be the bottom tier 2 cleaned up, no problem at all. PL down for 80 seconds, and we are rapidly approaching GG in a game 3.
This is absurd amount of kills too. Like 60 kills at 36 minutes. This is the exact opposite of what happened in the last game with that anti-mage set. I guess that iG.V, they took the advice. They wanted to try and make things happen, and this lineup certainly does that.
Oh, most definitely. And now we got to see maybe the final hurrah here, a little tornado action to lift up the Abaddon and take away all of his mana. They've only got 1 arcane.
All right.
Slark locked down pretty hard. Can he get the Shadow Dance off?
There's the Force Staff pushing him even further forward. In some trouble, pops that Shadow Dance and now turns on to ROTK. Pounce back up again if he wanted to go for it, but saving a hold of it for the moment just to get back to the tower. FY connects with a good stun. The Omni Slash out as well. Onto 2, continuing to hex up and control Sakata, but there isn't any follow-up in Super. He gets the ulti off again. Aggressive drop in solo is gonna die. 3 are gone. 100 seconds with no Juggernaut, and that's gonna do it. iG.V take game number 2 and push it to number 3 against their Chinese rivals.
Very well played. This is exactly what you need to do to make Slark work in these kind of lineups, but I gotta bring attention to what I think was the main reason that Vici J didn't find enough success in the early game, and it comes down to really active sentry placements from the Crystal Maiden. Like, there were so many choke points that were covered up perfectly against this bounty hunter. He walked into trouble 3 or 4 different times in the first 20 minutes of the game, and it really, even, like, obviously it'll be clear to viewers that killing a bounty hunter instead of being killed by a bounty hunter is really value, but also just the fact that after you get killed 2 or 3 times, you're very scared to start scouting. You're very scared to do anything active on the opposing side. So I really do feel like Fenrir just got put in his place, and he just really couldn't do anything against all the vision that was generated by iG.V. And there we go. iG.V victory going to game 3.
Oh, what a rap god that was. My God, that was amazing. I loved it. And the other